Early yesterday morning, it'd be Saturday, January the 8th, Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to the 62-mile marker on the interstate, I-2059. It's near the Foster's community, near the Foster's exit, on a suspicious call. That was closely followed up by a call of a driver reporting that they believe that they may have struck someone in the roadway. That driver was completely cooperative, stayed on scene, and is not involved in this investigation other than that. Deputies arrived down there on scene along with ALEA troopers to begin an investigation into whether or not this was an accident of a passerby or a pedestrian being struck. They found evidence there on scene that led them to believe that being struck by that vehicle may not have been the cause of that person's death. The Violent Crimes Unit was called out immediately at that time to come down and assume that investigation. Very shortly thereafter, around 6:55 a.m., another call came in from a passerby on Frog Ridge Road. Now, that is also in the Foster's community and is probably 4 to 5 miles from the first location. This person reported that there was a subject laying on the side of the road. So it was initially dispatched as a welfare check, but deputies and medics soon arrived on scene and determined that this subject was also deceased, and evidence on that scene led to the belief that they had been the victim of a shooting or assault. Obviously, the Violent Crimes Unit was, we called out the entire unit last night or yesterday morning and assumed the investigations into this. Initially, we didn't know if they were related, but of course, the investigation, we presumed that both of those were homicides and that they were possibly related. We worked all throughout the day and all throughout last night, and we were able to identify both of the victims. After identifying the victims, we learned that one of the victims' vehicles matched a description of a vehicle seen in the area, and we were able to develop evidence that that vehicle was the victim's vehicle and had left the area. That vehicle, we put a bulletin out for it, and it was soon we discovered that it had been located by law enforcement in Lowndes County, Alabama, near the Haynesville area. We sent teams down to Lowndes County, and they worked all night alongside Lowndes County Sheriff's Office, Haynesville Police Department, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, particularly their homicide unit, the Fort Deposit Police Department sent some personnel, and the Alabama Department of Corrections got involved at one point. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all those agencies for their cooperation, their help, and their professionalism, because they were of invaluable assistance to us last night. Conducting that investigation down there, that vehicle was obviously found to have been the vehicle that was missing from up here. It contained evidence that showed that these homicides had occurred. Investigation down there led us to 2 subjects. They were eventually located. Once they were located, after investigation, interview, and their transport back up here to Tuscaloosa, they have this time been charged each with 1 count of capital murder. There may be other charges that will follow as the investigation continues. Both the victims and these suspects were both from the Lowndes County, Montgomery County area. We're still under investigation as to what they were doing, but obviously the interstate is the main artery of traffic. The victims were identified as Justin Michael Whitfield and Destin Richard Holly. They were both 23 years of age. And the suspects were identified as Keandre McCall and a Mance McCall Jr. They're both 19 years of age, and they are related to each other as cousins. At this time, as the victims and the suspects were both from outside of Tuscaloosa County, and we don't have any suspects known at large, they're all in custody. We don't believe there's any danger to the Foster's community at this time at all. I would like to take the opportunity to praise the hard work of the investigators. In addition to investigators, we have clerical personnel, crime analysts that do cyber and computer type work for us. We have crime scene technicians And all of these personnel worked throughout the night and the day with no sleep, and their work was, unbelievable. And the identification of these victims and the quick arrest of these dangerous suspects is due to all of their hard work and professionalism. And I just want to take the opportunity to praise them and to say how proud I am to be a part of this unit. So,
what was the connection that got them here to Tuscaloosa County if the victims and the suspects are from almost an hour and a half?
That's still actually currently under investigation. Unfortunately, the victims can't speak for themselves right now, and the suspects have been less than forthcoming. So,
how do they slip up and you catch them?
We've got technologies, good investigative methods. I've said this before, and I can't give away all that we do have, but we have 4 different agencies here working together. At times, yesterday I was on the phone with SBI, the Alabama Department of Corrections, all these agencies down south. We had our crime analyst out here utilizing different types of technology, and we are, when things fall together for us, we're quite good at what we do. And that's just the bottom line.
And speaking of that, we're 9 days into the new year, 3 homicides with 3 arrests so far. It's just a continuation of the violent crimes unit high arrest rate. Can you just talk about how almost every case that comes in front of you, you guys make arrests pretty quickly?
Right. I don't want to speak too much to that. We do have several open cases from last year, and of course nobody knows what the future can hold. All I can say is that we work every day for that, for our victims' families, and for closure, and of course to try to make our county in particular a safer place to be. But like you said, all of the Tuscaloosa Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, Northport, and the University of Alabama are all outstanding agencies on their own, and each of us sharing resources helps monetarily. We work together, our admin, our chiefs and sheriffs work together, and this type of unit is second to none, I believe, in this part of the state, if not the state as a whole.
Would the suspects face any charges out of Lowndes County?
Not at this time.
You said that there's been 1 count of capital murder for each suspect.
Yes.
Can you say if that's related to the Frog Ridge Road homicide, the interstate homicide, 1 for each?
Yes. One of the elements of capital murder is if you kill more than one individual through one course of conduct. So at this time, they're being charged with 1 count of capital murder, but that is because we have probable cause to believe and have obtained warrants through the magistrate charging them for killing 2 individuals at the same time.
So any motive at this point?
It's still all under investigation.
And y'all believe you have your 2 guys, or are there more people possible?
At this time, we believe these are our suspects. We have no one else at large.
Of course, with the capital murder charge, there's no bond for either suspect.
Correct. There's no bond for them at this time, no.
Is there any kind of family relationship between the suspects, or is it just between the victims?
We believe they were some type of acquaintances obviously they were all from the same area. I'm not sure if they have any family relations tonight. The suspects were related to each other, and both victims were reported to be quite good friends. So
whatever went down, it just happened here, but there's no specific reason.
As we know, yes. There may be other crimes that aren't murder that have occurred somewhere else, but we do believe that the totality of that crime occurred within Tuscaloosa County.
Do you believe the bodies were put in 2 different places to kind of throw investigators off if one or more got discovered?
Yeah, I can't speak to that, but they were both, for lack of a better word, discarded by these suspects in a rapid fashion after the murders.
I mean, you've seen a lot of these cases, Jack, over your career. What's bizarre about how the bodies were left in the road that way?
Like I said, I can't speak to their thoughts and actions. They're going to answer for what they've done. And we've been on the phone with the families in Lowndes and Montgomery County and some of their extended family throughout the state all night long. They've been up all night long with us. And we were able to make that phone call early this morning and tell them that we had arrested these two men. So
why is it important to give these families closure for such brutal crimes?
That's all that we can do, and we're going to follow this case to the ends of the earth. This investigation isn't over. This just occurred yesterday. We still have backtracking timetables to put together. Where were they before this and after? All that's going to be done, and obviously everything that we find will be packaged and turned over to the district attorney's office in totality. So there may be other charges to come.
Had the victims been reported missing from Lowndes County before the bodies turned up?
They had not.
Have you recovered a weapon or weapons?
I'm not going to speak to that facet of the investigation right now.
Any particular history with the suspects? Had they done it?
Both of the suspects were 19 years of age. So I'll get that right, make sure. Yeah, both suspects were 19 years of age, so they did not have much of a criminal history at this point in their lives, if any.